Well, hello, Kira. Welcome.
She's only here for the Shavasana.
Like all of us, Mary Richards. Hello and welcome to our new moon mail. I'm Lizzie Lassiter, and we have the great pleasure of learning from Mary Richards today. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Lizzie.
Mary, if you don't know, is the author of the fabulous book Teach People, Not Poses, which belongs on every serious yogi's bookshelf. Today, our class is called Strength Training to Survive the Holidays. So, first question for you, our dear student, how's your nervous system doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel? Do you feel connected to yourself? Do you feel pulled in a million different directions, scattered, stressed, sleep deprived?
Yeah, we would love to see that in a single word or couple words in the comments below. What is the state of your nervous system as you're arriving in this class? And while you're below this video, I will include in the description the link to subscribe to our free New Moon Mail. We send out a class like this every single month to support your practice. And when you fall in love with this style of somatic strength training work, I will also include the link to two offerings with the great Mary Richards. One of them is called Somatic Self-Care. It's a monthly live functional movement strength training for yogis class with Mary and me. January is a great time to recommit to your body. And if you want to start the new year strong, Mary and I are also offering our somatic strength course again. We're going to run it live again with a new group of students. So, two questions for you right at the start, Mary. Can you define what do you mean by somatic strength training? What are we going to do? What style of strength training are we going to do today?
So, somatic strength training, in my thinking, is that we move at the pace of the body, not driven by the demands of the mind. So often when we strength train or do any sort of exercise, movement, modality, we're governed by things like duration, number of repetitions, if you lift weights, how much weight you're lifting. And I certainly have decades of experience with that type of externalized framework. But somatic strength work in particular, is really about getting deeper into your body and paying exquisite attention to the sensations that arise when you invite challenge to the mat.
Yeah, I really like that. And for me, what you said about it being grounded in the breath is so important that I try while I'm doing this style of strength training to stay as closely as possible to my breath, attentionally let the breath take up almost like all my field of attention.
Yeah.
Mary, what is the big idea for today's class? Strength training to survive the holidays. Why are those two things connected?
Well, because when we challenge our strength, when we challenge our tolerance for load, which let's face it, our family and friends do quite well, especially around the holidays, when we work, especially on core stabilization and working into the prime movers of the body that support moving forward through our tasks, through our days, it actually has a really integrative grounding effect for us. And even though we're working, the residue of this type of practice is one of down regulation. We're more settled, we're more collected, and we're less reactive.
Yeah.
So we have more space within ourselves, within our awareness, to make choices that are more closely aligned with our available energy.
Yeah. And it's almost like my goal is to inhabit more of my body from the inside out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to lose track of that, especially in the frenetic pace that's often set by the holiday season and the end of the year. I know that as the end of the calendar year approaches for me, I'm often thinking about everything that I didn't get done.
And I
Like
have a
there,
frenzy to just like finish. I have this mania about finishing everything, which is the biggest myth because like you wake up on the 1st of January and you're like, and now it all starts over. And also there's still dirty laundry here. Like nothing is finished.
yes, exactly. And so by doing somatic training work, strength training work, again, and this is designed to invite conscious challenge, not for the sake of challenge, but really to serve what is my relationship with the consciously choosing something that's difficult for me? And how does that conscious choice affect my responsiveness? How does that change my behavior? And let's face it, if you spend a little time in a plank pose, it gives you a great opportunity to think about the choices that you make in life.
Okay, let's move to the mat. I'm going to make me big. Mary is going to guide us, and
Yes.
I will be demoing. So, I'm not finding pin is what I need. Okay, so Mary, how do you want to start?
Okay, so this is intentional in that we're not going to use props, okay? Because let's say you're between errands or you're making dinner for people coming over to your home or whatever. Uh,
Or you're at your mother-in-law's house where there are no props.
there you go. There you go. And so now, if you're home and you have available, you may want to have two blocks nearby, but we can also just be very strict down about this. So we're going to start on all fours and begin with cat cow, initiating cat cow from the pelvic floor, from the space right in front of your tailbone. And please use the length of the exhalation to come into the cat position and the length of the inhalation to move into the cow position. Just take your time and as you engage with cat cow, what grabs your attention? Where do you feel sensations of work, of compression, of contraction? Where do you feel sensations of opening, stretching? Where might you have sensory dullness? Where is there an absence of sensation? And I'd like you to do as many of these as you like. So
That's a
Mhm.
that's a radical concept.
Yeah. But see, when we pay exquisite attention to this breath body rhythm, we will get to a place where we feel content. Your body knows when it's had enough cat cow. And this is why I don't like to count repetitions. And then after
Yeah.
you feel complete with cat cow, you can see Lizzie is sitting back on her heels. Maybe you want to roll your fists around a bit to decompress your wrists if you need that break. And then we're going to come back to all fours and we're going to do a couple of variations of bird dog so that we begin really enlivening our core stabilization systems and turning on our glutes. So we start on all fours and I want you to inhale and pick a leg and lift that leg behind you. Just one leg. And then exhale and lower. And then inhale and lift the other leg. Exhale and lower. And I want you to continue alternating with the legs. And just noticing any difference in sensation between the right side and the left side. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. Notice if you're lax in your belly space. I'm not asking you to suck your belly in or anything like that, but just notice, are you kind of dripping into the pose? And then when you're ready, you'll release the leg action. And then with your next inhalation, pick an arm and lift that arm directly in front of you. And now stay here for at least a round of breath. And then exhale and lower, and inhale and lift the other arm.
This is always so surprisingly hard.
Yes, 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 it is. But most of us need this training. We're working into what's called the proximal insertions of the psoas, and this helps stabilize you at thoracic 12 and lumbar 1, which is really important because this is a transitional segment in the vertebral column. And a lot of us will experience compression and discomfort in this area, and this is how we address that. You can kind of
Mm.
think of it as you, if you will, as like a transfer point between your heart center and your belly center.
Right.
And how well is your need for body support aligning with your heartfelt desires, right? So,
Oh, Mary, you're stabbing me right right in the heart chakra with that question because that's where I have back pain. That's my spot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where we can really feel the weight of the world bearing down on us, you know?
Yeah, and for me it's the weight of my unrealistic expectations.
Sing it, sister. And so, just see where you are if you feel complete with this movement. And then when you're ready with your next inhalation, you'll lift the opposite arm and opposite leg. And then we'll exhale and lower the pair, and we'll inhale and lift the opposing pair. And this is much easier, yes?
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
You're doing more, but it's easier.
Yeah, yeah, you've primed the pump, and also now the gluteus maximus has come to help. So we can really get a sense when we do this variation of bird dog how much we rely on our gluteus maximus to help out our abdominals.
The gluteus maximus is Mary's favorite muscle. So I was laughing, thinking like, this class brought to you by the gluteus maximus product placement.
Right? It's a sneaky way, though, to get some strength training in for your posterior kinetic chain. And this is going to help you walk and sit and stand for duration if you are the family cook. This is going to help you stand and chop the vegetables and the like.
Yeah, there was just something on the message board from a student in our experiential anatomy class. We just did a glutes class last night with Mary, and someone posted this morning that she washed the dishes for the first time ever without pain because of training her glutes.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing. Okay, I'm going to do one more on each side.
Okay. And then sit back for a moment and just notice. Notice how you feel. And then when you're ready, transition down onto your back body on the mat. And you can keep your knees bent or you can extend your legs on the mat. Now I'm going to tell you if you straighten your legs out, what's to come is going to be more difficult. So maybe be kind to yourself and start with bent legs. And then what we're going to do is we're basically going to flip the bird dog and come into the dead bug. So we'll inhale and we'll extend one leg and the opposite arm. We'll reach through one leg and reach over the head through the other arm, and then we'll exhale and come back to center and do the opposing pair. So this is a really grounded way to do this, is to work from the floor. Please know that this is a lovely option. Let's say you want to have more challenge. What you'll do instead is with your next exhalation, bring your knees up one at a time and center them over your hip joints and hold your shin bones parallel to the mat. And now, as you inhale, one leg, opposite arm, and reach. You can tap the heel down onto the mat of the moving leg. Or if you want, you can do a pedal pusher action where you keep the legs straight.
Ooh, okay, we're gonna try one round of that. That's
And,
crazy.
and you can see Lizzie's moving from bent knee to straight leg. So this is more challenging. Now, if you're really feeling saucy, you can do a scissoring action with the legs where you keep them straight the whole time. But you got to be mindful of yourself, okay? I know. But see, this is where we play with our strength because heaven knows your family and friends are going to test your strength every chance they get.
Okay, what's happening with my lower back? Am I trying to keep the normal lumbar curve or am I tucking here and gluing my lower back to the ground?
Don't glue your low back to the mat. Do you notice, Lizzie, how when you change the position of your opposing limbs, you come into a bit of extension in the low
Mm-hmm.
back? And then when you exhale and come back to center, your low back flexes a bit. That's normal.
Okay.
Okay. The key is you're not trying to push your back down into the mat, nor are you trying to bubble your belly up to the ceiling.
Just trying to survive so we don't have a dead yogis.
That's right. That's right. So I like to think about being in a flower press. You know how when you were a kid, you'd put pansies in a flower press or in a big heavy book? Think of that you're from the front body and the back body, you're holding your organs stable.
Mm. Okay, one more on each side.
Great. And then when you come back to center, maybe you want to give your legs a hug into the body and rock around a little bit. And then when you're ready, one at a time, you bring your feet down onto the mat and your arms long by the sides of the body. Your feet are comfortably placed for you. A little wider is better than the big toes touching. Please, no holding the legs or the feet together here. I want your feet to be at least two fist widths apart. Maybe they're a little wider. Again, wider is better. Arms long by the sides of the body. And then I want you to make sure your heels are comfortably close to your bum without feeling the skin really stretching across the tops of your knees. And we're going to push down into the heels without lifting the toes. Just press down into the heels and inhale, lift the hips up. And now stay here. Stay here. Press down through the upper arm bones. And now, as you exhale, bring one knee up toward the chest. Inhale, lower the foot onto the mat. And then exhale, other knee comes up to the chest. Now, is the body going to move a bit? Yes, but I want you to try and restrain that movement without locking the door. Okay? And you should be really aware now of your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves.
Yeah, I'm aware of everything.
Remember, this is strength training. This is using body weight to develop our awareness of how well supported we feel in our bodies. And when we feel well supported and stable in the body, then our nervous system can relax a little bit. It doesn't have to be so vigilant. So you do as many of these as you feel comfortable doing, but once your bum really starts dropping toward the mat, that's the sign that you've had enough.
Mhm.
Okay? And then rest with the thighs against one another in a pyramid position in the constructive rest. You may need to separate your feet a little bit. Notice how you feel.
Like there's a almost burning sensation when I'm activating and working. And then when I let go, like now, there's just these waves of release that are so satisfying.
Yeah, and this is actually how we change tension in the body. So this is how we can relieve unproductive tension is we work the muscles in their what their dharma is and the plane in which they lie, and then we give ourselves, you know, anywhere from 4 rounds of breath to 10 rounds of breath to notice the residue, and you can feel the shift in your tissues. But now it's time to shift into some lateral stabilization training. So I want you to roll onto your dominant side. And then you're going
Okay.
to come up onto your forearm.
So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go on my right forearm.
Hmm. And you just place that right forearm comfortably for you. And then we're going to come into the side plank position. Now you can keep your knees bent if you want to make this a little more accessible, or you can do what Lizzie prefers to do, and personally what I prefer to do, which is to lift the hips, have straight legs, and then you place your top foot in front of your bottom foot. And so here we are in the side plank. Support the weight of your head. And now let's inhale and reach for the sky with the top arm. And as you exhale, turn your top lung down toward the mat. Bring the arm down, wrap it around you, and then inhale and unfurl. Exhale and twist. So we're doing the side plank with a twist, building strength in those trunk rotators. And I know this is challenging, but it's so productive. This happens every time you reach across the body to get something.
Okay, two more.
Great. Yeah, once you start to like drip the hips down toward the mat, you know you're coming to the end of your fuel gauge. Your fuel is low. Okay?
Mm,
And then we're
yeah.
going to change sides. And you're going to notice such a difference now, and I think it'll become clear why I want you to start with your dominant side down on the mat. So now it's your non-dominant side down, that's the lower side, and we're going to do the same thing.
It's like a piece of cake compared to the other side.
Yes, yes. And we talk about why in somatic strength course as well in somatic self-care. And for those of you that are joining us for experiential anatomy, yoga therapeutics, you've heard a lot about functional scoliotic overlay. That's the seed I'm going to plant.
So, so fascinating. And I love how you teach this, Mary, because you feel it in your body. It's like we love that word experiential learning because it's not theory based. It's like I can just, it's like this side I can do 15 and the other side I struggle to do 5. It's
Yes.
amazing.
So now let's do the first side again.
Okay.
Let's just put a little more emphasis on the side that isn't quite as proficient
Let's put a
with
little
this.
hot sauce.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. And you don't have to do the same number of repetitions. Again, please go by how you feel. And hopefully, with this second experience on your dominant side, you're not able to do as many because you're fatigued.
Hmm. I love these movements, Mary, because they're all compound movements. It's like we're working multiple things at once.
Yes, yes, that's how we move in our activities of daily living. And, a lot of us are pressed for time. So this is a really efficient way to use our time and energy. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so now we're going to come onto the front body. We're going to come onto the belly on the mat. And your arm position is up to you. I personally like to stack my hands and rest my forehead on my stacked hands, but it's got to work for you. And your legs are just growing out of your body. So you're not trying to hold them together. Lizzie, if you're willing, would you squeeze your legs together and tell us how that feels?
Feels like it makes me want to tuck my
Mhm,
pelvis, and it
mhm.
feels like my feet are inside of the width of my hips.
Because they are. So I want us to be in our bones. So let's separate our legs now. They're growing right out of your hip sockets, or they're a little wider. You can have your feet as wide as is comfortable for you. So please play with this. Start by squeezing the legs together and then work your legs out and out and out until you feel content. And then when you're ready, I want you to inhale, pick a leg, and lift that leg up toward the sky, and then lower. And do the same thing with the opposite leg. And now inhale and lift both legs, both legs. Huh? And exhale and lower. Inhale, lift the first leg again. Exhale and lower. And then the opposite leg and lower. And then both legs. So you got the rhythm now?
Hmm.
And this is what I want us to do. And hopefully you're feeling your glutes, your hamstrings, and your low back working. This is
Yes.
productive work. Your glutes, your hamstrings, and your low back, they are a team. But the horse that pulls the team, the lead horse, is your gluteus maximus.
The star of the show.
So you do as many of these as you like. And if you want, though this changes things, and so you have to make the choice for yourself. You can also add the torso lift when you lift both legs, but only if you want to do that. That can be really hard on your low back. And let's face it, low backs are about relationships, and the holidays tend to challenge those relationships.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And notice Lizzie brought her arms alongside her body because if you take your arms forward, that adds a lot of load, which is fine if you want to try that, but just be aware that that is going to be much more challenging and it may or may not agree with you, especially if you haven't done a lot of that bird dog arm lift only move.
Yeah, this is like turbocharging it.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
So, Mary, say one thing about why this kind of back extension against gravity is a healthy, nourishing movement for us.
Okay, so you need this strength, this foundational strength for every step that you take.
Mm.
It's the back body that propels us forward. And especially if you experience tightness and discomfort in your low back, yes, you need to do planks and the like, but you really need to train your glutes because they're going to take the weight out of your low back. They're going to take the weight of the world off your shoulders and move that into the heavy bones of the pelvis and the lower extremity where weight belongs.
Yeah, and that has been such a revelation working with you, Mary, in somatic strength is that I've learned the gluteus maximus, the bum muscles, are part of the core. Like that was totally new for me. I always thought the core was just the front.
Yeah, and that's why, I remember back in the day when I would just do crunches, 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 crunches.
Yeah.
And I've found over the years that planks, especially planks where I lift one leg, and opposite arm and leg, etc., that those improved my athletic performance and my body comfort. Like it was stunning the difference. And also thinking about folks who have foot and ankle issues as well as knee and hip issues, like especially with knees. And I've had a lot of knee interventions. You'll stretch hamstrings and stretch calf muscles and train quads, etc. But what really helps knees is training the glutes. So,
Okay, what's next in
okay.
our series?
The good news is next we're going to take a break. So we're going to do legs on a chair. And it doesn't have to be a fancy chair. Again, maybe you're hiding out in a guest room at your in-laws' home, and the only thing that's available to you is the bed or, a desk chair or an ottoman. The intention is we're going to put our legs up on a chair so that our feet are higher than the heart. And that's going to help relieve any swelling, which can happen from travel. And it's also just a great way to actually get out of your head.
Am I hearing Kira the dog snore
You
in the
are.
background? So perfect.
You
Okay,
are.
I'm gonna get a chair and show the setup because it's very simple, but there's a few embellishments that can make this extra delicious. So I'm just gonna take a regular old chair and a throw pillow. I'm gonna use that for my head. And then I'm gonna take something to cover my eyes. So it could be like a scarf. It doesn't have to be something purpose built. I have an eye mask, so I'm gonna use that. And then I'm gonna take two blankets. And first of all, socks. Like it's a small thing, but anything that's going to add a layer of comfort for your physical body. Warmth is an incredibly important ingredient for relaxation. So I'm going to lock the door. I'm going to put my phone on airplane. I'm going to turn off notifications on my watch, that type of thing, to give myself a boundary of 10, 15, 20 minutes to downregulate. Then I'm going to take the chair and I'm going to take the first blanket and wrap it around. So I'm going to put my legs on so that my lower legs are fully supported. I don't want my knees to be hanging. And I'm going to wrap it around as a kind of external ligament. It's going to hold and tuck under and hold my, it's not, I always say it's not about holding the legs together. It's about keeping them from falling apart. What I need in my life. Like what I need in my life. Just just keep me from falling apart. So that's there. But then as I come down, I want this slant in the legs. I don't want them to be vertical. So I move the pelvis away a little bit. And then as I come down, I lengthen my rib cage away from my pelvis and adjust the pillow. The pillow comes to me and it comes all, it's not just supporting my skull, but I think of it as coming all the way down to the shoulders, lengthen the back of the head, the occiput, lengthen it away. And then I like to tuck the far corners of the pillow underneath to elevate the skull a little bit. Then I'm going to take my second blanket and use it to wrap around my torso for warmth. Also feels really nice to tuck it in on the side body, especially in that kind of arch where the low back comes up from the floor. And then I cover the eyes. Again, this could be a scarf, a sweater, but darkness is an important trigger to the nervous system. So that's the setup. And now I'm going to hand it over to Mary to guide us in and keep the time for us and tell us when it's time to come back.
So make any adjustments that you need right now to improve your comfort. Inhale the breath and let it go. Do this again. Fill the body with breath and let it go. One more time. Fill the body with breath and let it go. And direct your attention now to the presence, the weight of the body resting on the floor, the legs on the chair, noticing where you're in contact with another surface and trusting the support. Notice the stretch of the skin as you inhale and the slackening of the skin as you exhale. All of your attention now yoked to the sensations of inhalation, the natural pause between inhalation and exhalation, and then the exhalation itself. Your attention yoked to the contours of the breath. In each exhalation, the body settling deeper into itself. Fill the body with breath and let it go. Do this again. Fill the body with breath and let it go. Notice the presence of the body, the weight of the body. Notice the space within the body itself, the space in the belly, the heart center, the throat, the head. Notice the body in its totality. The body, a field of warm, radiant, vibrating sensation. And begin to extend your senses beyond your skin, extending your attention into the space around you. And when you're ready, slowly begin to make small movements with the body, eventually resting the feet on the edge of the chair. Eventually, take your time. And then when you're ready, rolling to the side most comfortable for you and making any movements you'd like along the way. Resting on the side body, breathing into the skin of the back. And then hugging the organs deep into yourself, hugging your energy into yourself, and using the arms in the inhalation to come slowly to a comfortable seated position. Breathing into the new orientation of the body. Just noticing how you feel. Inhale the hands up, palms turned away from you. Exhale the hands together in prayerful mudra at the heart center. Namaste.
May we live like the lotus at home in the body of water. Oh, what a gift, Mary Richards. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
I feel somehow grounded and weightless at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. That sort of contentless space.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I'd love, dear student, to hear from you. How do you feel in your body now after that strength and surrender practice? In a single word in the comments below, right after colon and give your word. And best of luck surviving the holiday season. We do hope you'll subscribe to our new moon mail. The link is below. And we would be honored if you join us in the coming year for our monthly somatic self-care class or our somatic strength course. We're starting live in January together to start the new year strong. Last words, Mary, before we say goodbye.
Take care of your sweet selves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can find everything Mary is doing. I'll include the link to her website below. You can find her. All right, everyone. Lots of love.
Yes.